I call to order and welcome you to the Middletown, Ohio Special City Council meeting for the Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. Please join me for a moment of meditation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag. You will hear the gavel tap 3 times when it is time to stand. Please join me in a moment of meditation now.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk of Council, Mrs. Amy Skank, please call the attendance roll.
Mr. Lawley.
Present.
Mrs. Carter. Present. Mr. West.
Here.
Mr. Horn.
Here.
Mayor Slamka.
Here. Thank you. The next item on the agenda this evening is citizen comments. A professional presentation free of foul language is expected. This is not the time for debate, questions and answer, or any back and forth conversation. This is a time for you, our residents, to be able to present in front of council on record, uninterrupted, and have the floor. Did we receive any comment cards this evening? Thank you. We have 1 comment card this evening. And I will go ahead and prompt you for your next step. I would like to call Courtney Salentic to the podium, please. And you may stand or sit according to your preference. Please adjust the microphone and speak directly into the microphone at all times. And before we begin, please state your full name and Middletown residence, work address, or interest in the city for the record. You will then have 4 minutes of uninterrupted speech. Please commence.
Okay, thank you. I'm Courtney Salentic. I live in Middletown, 109 Kensington Street. I just finished watching the Revitalized Downtown video, the discussion that happened in March, and it was really invigorating. I thought there was some really great comments about what to do with the historic buildings in Middletown, and I wanted to hear from council, hopefully something today in response about what is happening, because I'm a little confused about the new survey that was sent out. It was pretty obvious from the discussions that the Manchester is valued as an historic building in Middletown. And I know that there is a group that is trying to save the Manchester and think about different things to do. So I thought there was a ton of energy in the March conversation, and I'm wondering where it stands now. Maybe I'm missing the notices that come out on what's happening. So I'd love to know where to see what is happening and what the plans are versus demolishing and moving forward. Thank you.
Yeah, so Courtney, on that, over the last few months, there have been a number of groups and citizens that have come forward saying, hey, we'd like to partner with the city. And so, with city manager, city staff, council, and some of those citizen-led initiatives, they've been meeting. And here, I think in the next few days, correct me if I'm wrong.
Or August 11th.
Yeah, there's going to be an RFQ that comes out. That way, if there's any prospective developers that want to come in and bid on, redevelopment, revitalization, we thought, let's get it out there. But for the most part, myself and I think most of the folks, if not all the folks up here, we wanted to prioritize a discussion with downtown and not just say, oh, we'll get to it. But so there's been a number of meetings on it. There's been a lot of discussion here at council meetings with it. But yeah, so later on this year, probably, I would say Q4 of the calendar year, we'll have another town hall. By then, the RFQ will have closed, and we'll take a look at what developers have bid. Hopefully, we'll have something tangible to share with the community on it. So.
In RFQ, there were 2 different things in RFQ versus
RFP.
And
yeah.
which one was?
Actually, at this time, just because we want to keep going, it's not really time for back and
Okay.
forth. But as Mr. West was pointing out, there is an upcoming meeting coming up. So what I can ask is our city manager will have your information. She'll send you the information for the next meeting where you'll get all the questions answered, and you can even
Great.
start asking questions now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. West. The next item on the agenda is council comments. That concludes our public comment for the evening. We will begin with to my left with Councilmember Lawley, followed by Councilmember Carter, and then to my right with Councilmember West, followed by Councilmember Horn. And I will speak last. Mr. Lawley.
I have nothing, Mayor.
All right. Mrs. Carter?
Nothing also.
Mr. West?
Just a couple quick things. One, I know we have the discussion later tonight, the public hearing on Todd Homes. I want to thank all the residents that have reached out to me. I've taken emails and phone calls, and I'm not sure how many, but the response has been nice. And so I would just like to say that all of their concerns have been heard. I've looked at the proposed development. I'm not anti-development. I'm pro-development if it makes good sense. And in my opinion, the density is a bit too high. I've spent a lot of time talking to the residents, specifically in the adjacent neighborhoods, but also all over the city. And so at this time, I can't support that type of development in that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. West. Mr. Horn?
Good evening. Just have a couple of arts announcements. Number one, the Middletown Arts Center is having their annual photography and digital exhibition, and it's this Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. over at the Middletown Arts Center. And then I was also sent a text, which is a kind of an exciting announcement on the SORG. I'll just read it. It says, "We are thrilled to announce that the Middletown Community Foundation has awarded a generous grant to the SORG Opera Revitalization Group to present a truly unforgettable evening of arts and education. Thanks to their support, families will be invited to experience Lon Chaney's silent film, The Phantom of the Opera, brought to life by a live performance from the Butler County Philharmonic. It is a rare chance to step back in time and witness the magic of music and cinema as they once were right here in Middletown." And then they thank them by saying, "We extend our heartfelt thanks to the Middletown Community Foundation for being a steadfast champion supporter of the arts and our mission to preserve and celebrate culture in our community." So we're seeing here that, again, as I said before, the fabric of our city is the arts, and we need to support that in the best way we can by attending them or donating or maybe volunteering. But those are two things that are happening on the on this event. I think it's on the SORG's website on when the event's happening, but it just shows also the SORG is working diligently not only to do the sweat equity of the building, but also trying to get those grants so our families and their children can enjoy things at the SORG to learn more about the arts. But to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Horn. One of the things I wanted to talk about tonight was the fact why we started early this evening at 4 p.m. instead of the regular 5:30, and that's because tonight is National Night Out, America's Night Out Against Crime, hosted by our Middletown Police Department. It's an annual community building campaign that promotes police-community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie. This is a completely free, family-friendly event, and it is happening tonight at Smith Park, located at 500 Titus Avenue from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., and we hope to see you there. There will be free health screenings, education, influenza vaccinations, and more by Premier Health at the Midpoint Library Middletown's parking lot tomorrow, Wednesday, August 6th, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for adults. For more information, please visit midpointlibrary.org. Are you a teenager, or do you have teens in your life who love art or want to get started? Join the fun, welcoming space for teen creatives to connect, create, and explore at the MAC, our Middletown Art Center, every other Thursday. Come try out drawing, painting, sculpture, digital art, and more. All supplies provided, and the event is totally free. The upcoming 2 teen art groups are this Thursday, August 7th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., and then August 21st at the same time at the MAC, located at 130 North Verity Parkway. So they can be sure to have enough supplies. If you plan on attending, please do RSVP to 513-424-2417. The Ohio Department of Public Safety, along with our Middletown Police Department and the Hope Line, is holding their final resource carnival of the year this Friday, August 8th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our newly renovated and beautiful Oakland Park, located at 523 Baltimore Street. This is a free, family-friendly event with food, resources, and support for substance use, recovery, mental health, and wellness. For more information, please call Victoria Hensley with the Hope Line at 513-309-2934. Also this Friday, August 8th, I believe this is what you were speaking about, Mr. Horn, at the MAC in the lobby gallery is the opening, well, it's something similar to the works by Kate Uranek. This reception is free to enter and open to the public. Live music and complimentary light refreshments will be provided. As a 501c3 nonprofit organization, the MAC, our Middletown Arts Center, welcomes donations. For more information, please visit middletownartscenter.com under exhibits. This Saturday, August 9th, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., enjoy a Prohibition-style night of stand-up improv comedy from the area's most talented comedians in their Laugh Easy at the Windermere, located at 2 North Main Street, downtown. For more information, please visit thewindermere.com under special events. MOAM, or the Middletown Open Air Market, is happening the next 2 Sundays, August 10th and 17th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. across from Gravel Road Brewing Company downtown, located at 916 First Avenue. You will find produce, food, clothes, and all kinds of wares. For more information, please visit downtownmiddletown.org. Do you knit, embroider, crochet? Bring your current project and socialize during a low-key crafting circle called Hobby Hangout at our Middletown Midpoint Library in the boardroom. No project? No problem. Supplies will be available for you to find your next craft obsession. The date is next Wednesday, August 13th from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. For more information, please visit midpointlibrary.org. Classic Rock Symphony brings you the ultimate classic rock tribute to Foreigner, Boston, Journey, and more. Next Friday, August 15th at the Sorg Opera House, located at 63 South Main Street, consider the evening of Foreigner's Journey to Boston. The box office opens at 6 p.m., doors at 7, and the show begins at 8 p.m. For tickets and more information, please visit sorgoperahouse.org. Please save the date for a couple of events coming up in Middletown. First is Hops in the Hangar. It is the epic craft beer and aircraft event in Southwest Ohio coming up Saturday, August 23rd. Tickets are on sale now. For more information and to purchase tickets, please visit hopsinthehangar.com. Please also save the date for Dog Day Downtown, coming up Friday, September 12th. It's a day for the dogs with loads of free treats for your pooch, dog-themed vendors, activities, DJs, and more. For more information, please visit downtownmiddletown.org. As a reminder, the City of Middletown accepts applications for our boards and commissions throughout the year. So if there is something that you would have an interest in and wish to give back to your city in this way, please do submit your application. To learn more, please visit the city's website at cityofmiddletown.org. Lastly, and as always, there are many ways to get involved with your community and give back. Join a board or committee, run for office, apply for a job with the city, volunteer at the hospital, pick up trash in your neighborhood or park, plant a garden in your yard, smile at a neighbor, find joy and satisfaction for a job well done in whatever work you do, or just have a positive and giving attitude. Find something that you can do regularly and give back. We are all connected and we are all in this together. The care of our city is an adventure in which we all get to share. That is all from me tonight, and this concludes our council comments. The next item on our agenda is city manager reports. Ms. Ashley Combs, do we have any city manager reports?
Good evening. No, I do not tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. And while the consent agenda is generally for consensus items, do any council members wish to remove anything from the consent agenda this evening and move it to the motion agenda? Okay, seeing none, we will continue. Mrs. Skank, please present the consent agenda.
For your consideration this evening, we have the approval of the City Council minutes of April 15th and June 17th, 2025. Receive and file the following board and commission minutes. The Airport Commission from November 18th and December 16th, 2024, and June 16th of 2025. The Cemetery Board, April 16th, 2025. The Historic Commission, May 15th, 2025. And the Board of Zoning Appeals from June 4th, 2025. To confirm the conditional appointments of Steve Napier to the position of maintenance worker in the Department of Public Works and Utilities, Water Maintenance Division, and Jenna Horseman to the position of Human Resources Clerk in the Human Resources Division. Receive and file oaths of office for Callie Fisher, Rosa I can never say that, I'm sorry, Rosa Okoa, Mary O'Neill, and Melinda Spicer.
Thank you, Mrs. Skank. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. We will proceed to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mrs. Carter.
Yes.
Mr. West.
Yes.
Mr. Horn.
Yes.
Mayor Slamka.
Yes.
Mr. Lawley.
Yes.
The yeses have it, and the motion passes. The consent agenda is approved. Our next item is the motion agenda, and we have 3 items on the motion agenda this evening. Mrs. Skank, please present item A on the motion agenda.
To authorize the city manager to accept a reimbursable Federal Aviation Administration grant for the Jets hangar roof replacement project in the amount of $239,659 with an additional 5% city match in the amount of $12,614. The total project cost is $252,273.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
The Middletown Regional Airport has AIG funds from the FAA that will expire this year. These funds can be reused to replace the roof on the Jets hangar. On April 15th, the council approved a contract with insulated roofing contractors for this project. As mentioned, the FAA funds are reimbursed after completion, making the airport capital funds net contribution $12,614. If the grant program is not utilized, the remaining funds will be lost.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve item A to authorize the city manager to accept a reimbursable Federal Aviation Administration grant with 5% city match for a total of $252,273?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It having been properly moved and seconded, is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mayor Slanka?
Yes.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Lawley?
Yes.
The yeses have it, and the motion passes. Mrs. Skank, please present item B on the motion agenda.
To authorize a contract with Snyder Recreation Incorporated in the amount of $143,080 for replacing the existing playground equipment at Damon Park.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
This is to authorize a contract with Snyder Recreation, Inc. for replacing the playground equipment at Damon Park. The Park Board plans upgrades to Damon Park using the dedicated park improvement funding from the City Council. The first priority is to replace the aging playground equipment. Staff secured pricing through the State of Ohio purchasing contract. The project is expected to be completed by spring of 2026.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve item B to authorize a contract with Snyder Recreation, Inc. in the amount of $143,080 for replacing the existing playground equipment at Damon Park?
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Having been properly moved and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mayor Slanka?
Yes.
Mr. Lawley?
Yes.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. West?
Yes.
The yeses have it, and the motion passes. Mrs. Skank, please present item C on the motion agenda.
To approve providing 5 school resource officers to the Middletown City School District for the 2025-26 school year.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
Mr. Ewing's going to present this one.
Council, this motion is to approve a renewal of the school resource officer SRO agreement with the Middletown City School District. The agreement is a renewal at the city will be providing 5 officers to provide SRO services at the school district for approximately 3/4 of the school year, for the calendar year, which represents the school year. The agreement is that the school district will reimburse the city for 75% of the total cost of 4 of the SROs and 50% of the total employment costs for 1 of the SROs, but a total of 5.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve item C to approve providing 5 school resource officers to the Middletown City School Districts for the 2025-2026 school year?
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mayor Slanka?
Yes.
Mr. Lawley?
Yes.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
The yeses have it, and the motion passes. This concludes the motion agenda for the evening. The next item on the agenda is legislation. We have 12 items of legislation this evening. Law Director, Mr. Alex Ewing, the legislation, please.
Item number 1 is ordinance number O-2025-42, an ordinance denying a request to change the zoning classification for a 10.793 acre parcel known as parcel number Q654-209-4000008, located on Hendrickson Road from I-1 Industrial Park District to PD Plan Development District, and not approving a preliminary development plan for construction of a 124-unit assisted living facility and a 144-unit multifamily apartment complex. Second reading.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, do you have anything to add?
Nothing further to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mr. Lawley,
Yes.
Mrs. Carter.
I'm confused.
Okay,
It says an ordinance denying a request,
right,
so I want to deny this request.
correct.
So it's a yes or a no?
So
Yes,
yes.
I deny the request, right?
Correct.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Mr. West,
Yes.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mayor Slanka.
Yes. Yeses have it, and the legislation passes. Mr. Ewing, the next item, please.
Item number 2 is resolution number R 2025-23, a resolution authorizing the city of Middletown's participation in the national opioid settlement involving Purdue Pharma LP and the Sackler family and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
Middletown is part of the One Ohio MOU for opioid settlement fund distribution. Purdue Pharma and the Sackler family are the latest defendants to propose a settlement, and the city needs to opt in to participate. The details are the anticipated payment is $7.4 billion, up to $198 million for Ohio and local governments per the One Ohio MOU. The payment timeline is over 15 years. The exact amount for the city is currently unknown. We could decide to be against the participation, making the city ineligible to receive the funding. And this is a second reading emergency so that we can opt in before the September deadline.
Thank you, Ms. Combs. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Having been properly moved and seconded, is there any discussion? All right. Hearing none, we will proceed to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mrs. Carter,
Yes.
Mr. West,
Yes.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mayor Slanka,
Yes.
Mr. Lawley.
Yes.
Yeses have it, and the legislation passes. Mr. Ewing, the next item, please.
Item number 3 is ordinance number O 2025-34, an ordinance authorizing a change order to the contract with Building Crafts for the construction of the filter backwash tank at the water treatment plant and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
In November of 2024, the city contracted with Building Crafts for a filter backwash tank with a budget not to exceed $5,182,000. This tank will collect and discharge filter backwash to sanitary sewer, alleviating capacity issues in the Lime Lagoon. The construction documents indicated the discharge line's invert elevation as 628.85 feet. However, the actual elevation is 2.46 feet lower, necessitating additional earthwork for lowering the tank and excavations for pipe connections. The change requires more concrete and rebar with a cost of $161,385 quoted by the contractor. The additional costs are not the contractor's responsibility, making the change order necessary. Legal counsel is currently reviewing the design contract for potential cost recovery. Change order number 1 will again cost $161,385 or 3.1% increase over the original contract price. Funds are available in the Water Capital Fund. And this is emergency legislation, so we can pay for the completed work.
Thank you, Ms. Combs. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Motion.
Is there a second? So moved. It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Horn.
Council, have you talked to the engineer about their errors and omissions insurance?
We're still reviewing that. I can provide a more detailed update, but I prefer to do that in a confidential setting, if that's.
Okay, because my problem with that is we pay this, and in my mind, the engineer, this is something that should have been under their errors and omissions. The claim that they used our drawings, existing drawings, and just put their layers on top of that and didn't go out into the field and do due diligence by doing the measurements and all the necessity things that they are paid to do as engineers and architects. I have a deep problem with this because this is not just a change order of 10, 20 grand. This is $161,385,000. I'm not blaming the contractor at all because he bid the work, and then he tried to do the work, and then suddenly it's like, I can't do the work. That's what a change order truly is. But that's why engineers and architect firms have errors and omissions. and they did not do their due diligence. From the emails and the documentations that I saw, that they used existing drawings and did not do field verification.
So is the work's already been done? That's where I'm confused. I'm confused as how did the work get done and we approved the money for the work to be done?
Mr. Tadich, Public Director.
So it would have had to been done, or we would have had to stop the whole project for months, frankly. So, I mean, I understand the cost. I mean, it is a big chunk of money. Now it's a big project at the same time. So, you know, in the field, without shutting the project down, we would have to shut the project down and pause it completely. And there's also some grant funding involved with this project that had to be spent as well. So there were some concerns about pausing it and taking a time out and, you know, coming to council. I mean, in construction, sometimes it happens. It's happened on other city projects.
I understand.
You know, I don't like it any more than you do, but
What's our chances of succeeding in getting the money back from the engineering firm? Because to me, I thought that was our question from the very beginning, not with the construction. The construction just built it as we said to build it. I thought from the very beginning, we questioned the engineering firm not doing their due diligence and the fact that, like I said, I've been told that any project with this, a $5 million project, carries with it errors and emissions insurance. And what's our chances of getting that back?
sorry. But that's not on the contractor. That's on we have a separate contract with the engineer.
Okay, so that's not, okay.
You know,
Yeah, that was going to be my question. So by paying this, we're not,
right, we're not
not-
saying
right.
we are agreeing with.
We're not stuck in a pigeon.
Correct.
Okay.
yeah.
Correct, sorry,
Yeah.
I should have clarified.
And if there is a claim to be had, we can file a claim.
Okay.
Right, so.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, the contractor, they bid the project as it was designed.
That clears it up for me. Thank you.
Sorry for not being more clear on that, so, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Tadich.
Thank you.
And also, I was just curious, when might we know if we can have any claim recovery? That might be a question for Mr. Ewing. You said you're looking into it, legal counsel.
Yeah, we'll do our best to get you an answer this week.
Okay, great. Is there any further discussion? No. And we shall continue then? Or did you want to table it for a later time?
No.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that we continue our due diligence. And I'm not trying to go after any firm or anything like that. I just have I have a background in this. And when I did a large project, the engineering firm I was working with, they actually they would issue change orders instead of having their errors and emissions insurance attacked just to keep the project flowing. So sometimes they'll do that. But in this case, it was the contractor that said, hey, we have a change order. I want to pay the contractor all day. I just want to make sure that everyone's very well aware that, especially legal, we want the errors and omissions to at least be addressed and see if we have a claim. Because again, I know it's a large project, $5 million large project, but still that is a large amount of money too. And we can't keep hemorrhaging money just to see how far we can go.
All right, thank you. With that, Mrs. Skank, would you please call the roll?
Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mayor Slamka?
Yes.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Lawley?
Yes.
Yeses have it, and the ordinance passes. Mr. Ewing, the next item, please.
Next item is item number 4, ordinance number O-2025-43, an ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to renegotiate the rate for the governmental electric aggregation program and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
The city of Middletown has been involved in the electric rate, aggregation since 2023, and the current rate will expire in November. Our consultant, Energy Alliances, is coordinating rates for about 30 communities. They expect to finalize the 13-month rate with Dynegy Energy Services, though it is yet not confirmed. The city manager will have authority to sign the lowest cost provider once determined. If it's okay with you, I would like to invite down Rich Saras with Energy Alliances. He would like to speak more about the aggregation programs.
That would be perfect. Thank you. Could you please state your name again, please?
Sure. Rich Cerise from Energy Alliances. Thank you, Council, for having me out tonight. There are two things for you to consider, but we'll start with electric because I think that's the first one that you have tonight. One piece of clarification as well, as far as what I just heard Ms. Combs say. So your electric, we actually do separate from other communities. The electric and gas are a little bit different. So we do look at every community individual for your electric. So though for the gas, and we'll touch on that too, we are grouping you guys with everybody else, but on the electric, because of timing, it is just for you. I believe a memo may have been shared with you over the last couple of days or maybe the last week as far as where the program has been, up to this point. Obviously, we're very happy with the program, right? The average resident has saved roughly 16.5% compared to Duke's default rates. It's about $240, and combined savings for the city has been $2.4 million up to this point. We'll actually expect that to grow significantly between now and the end of the contract, because Duke does reset their rates every June. So while you're anybody, residents or small businesses that are on the program right now paying 6.77 cents for generation, Duke right now is charging 10.43 cents for generation. So, for these last couple of months, from June to November, your residents will continue to pay 6.77 while everybody else that's on Duke is paying 10.43. So, that we have $2.4 million of savings across the city right now. Average resident, again, $240. For the next couple of months, for the average resident, if they use 1,000 kWh, they're going to save $35 a month for each of those months there. So again, those numbers will grow exponentially, the savings figures between now and the end of the program in November. If you've read through the memo, something you'll see that's changed a lot, right? Prices are going up. I'm sure you've seen a lot of your neighboring communities, maybe even stuff on the news, right? Prices are significantly higher now than where we were 2 years ago when we stood here. The big difference is what's called capacity. And what is capacity? It's what all of us as ratepayers pay to make sure that there is enough power plants generation online so that when you turn the lights on, that the lights turn on. When I stood here 2 years ago, went through this and kind of going to it, again, your program is 6.77 cents. That cost for capacity was about 0.4 cents of the entire thing. Now we're getting closer with being 3.25 cents of the entire thing. So it has changed a lot. Why has it changed? And how have we got here? Really the big thing is it's a signal to the market to say there is concern that there is not enough generation out there to meet the growing demands here in Ohio, neighboring states. So it's a signal to the market to say, hey, if you were planning on retiring a power plant, maybe it's not the time to retire it because the market will pay you to keep it there. If you have the ability to bring on new generation, so people who have the ability to build power plants, maybe it's time to build those power plants. So where we were paying, and I have that chart again. The actual numbers don't matter, but you'll see how it grew. These higher prices are here for the next 2 years. The market runs an auction to do that. It's kind of set in stone. We saw the big jump when we stood here 2 years ago was at $57 a megawatt day. The reason Duke and everybody else is seeing that big jump in price, why you're going to see that big jump in price as well, went to $270 a megawatt day. And the market has already run their auction for June of next year to May of 2027. It's up to $329 a megawatt day. There's nothing we could do about this, right? As far as that part, as far as it being built into your price. If you actually sort of back into the numbers I've just said, the difference in the 677 you're at now and the 925 of the lower prices that's kind of being offered in the market, it's that difference in capacity. So, until we see that supply-demand balance of all of us using power, things like, Intel trying to come to Ohio, data centers, they're great for economic development. They are really tough on the energy system. They consume a lot of energy. And that's why you see companies like Microsoft trying to cut their own deals with companies like Constellation for try to buy the power right from their power plants because it's becoming very costly. I actually saw an article not too long ago. The CEO of ChatGPT said, we thank you for being kind to our system, right? By people will chat stuff, put stuff into the chat, I'll kick back and they'll be like, oh, thanks. He's like, stop thanking the computer because every time somebody does, it's a micro transaction to the system that uses micro amounts of energy and data and everything else. So he's like, stop doing that. So again, everything we're doing, things we're seeing as far as growth, economic growth, here in Ohio and other states are putting that pressure on the system, and that's really the big reason why you're seeing the higher prices. That last page showed the RFP. Right now, we'll call it roughly 9.25 from the 672 you're at. Significantly higher price than where you are, but still roughly 10% cheaper than where Duke's going to be, and very much in line with a lot of your neighboring communities that have already kind of went through this sticker shock of process right now. So we've asked and have legislation in front of you today to give your city manager the authority to sign another aggregation deal to continue to give savings to your residents. And we're saying right now, based off of the process, to just stay with Dynegy. Your current supplier, stay with them again. And we're saying 13 months right now. Instead of November to November, we're suggesting November to December of next year. It shaves a little bit off the price to take another winter month. In typical Rich fashion, a lot of words very quickly. I will stop and answer any questions before you vote.
Any questions from
So
council?
will that work with my 9 brothers and sisters to tell all of them to quit saying thank you on text messages?
Yeah, I think anything we could do, right?
So realistically, a Middletown resident sees a decent savings on a per month basis. Is there like a ballpark figure? I know we can't hold you to a dollar.
So based off the prices we're seeing right now, again, the average resident starting in December would be, let's call it $12 a month. Right now, they're saving $35.
So about $12 a month, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's still around a 10% savings compared to Duke when the program renews and would be the December bill at this point.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? And at this point, if residents want to get in touch, ask questions, find out how to opt in or opt out, whatever they might need, how do they best contact?
Yep, so they can reach out to us directly. I believe you have a link on our website. We have a page on our website dedicated just to the city, so you can go to that. Again, I believe there's a link on your website. They could call us, 513-794-5555. They can email us at ops@energyalliances.com, or they can go to energyalliances.com, and again, they can get right to that dedicated page that we have for the city.
Thank you very much. If there's no further comment or questions, then we will continue to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Still need a first and a second.
Oh, sorry.
Nope. Sorry.
Thank you for that. And now, is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will continue to vote now. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mayor Slanka,
Yes.
Mr. Lawley,
Yes.
Mrs. Carter,
Yes.
Mr. West.
Yes.
The yeses have it, and the motion passes. Mr. Ewing, the next item, please.
Item number 5 is ordinance number O-2025-44, an ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to renegotiate the rate for the governmental natural gas aggregation program and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, do you have anything to add?
I do not. Rich, do you? Thank you.
Thanks for having me again. So as far as natural gas, your program does expire this October. So we've went out and looked at rates. This is a case where we have bundled the city of Middletown with, right now we're looking at 36 other communities. We still have a few meetings to kind of get through, but up to this point, 25 have signed already at the 0.6499, staying with AEP again. So that's the legislation we have for you today. The electric and gas is a little bit different. You know, the big thing around the gas is the stability. So Duke's rates change every month. So where we have on the electric side, for the most part, it's set for 12 months at a time. Duke's rates can swing pretty wildly. The chart on the memo, I believe that you have as well, shows that even just over the last 12 months, Duke's rates have gone anywhere from 55 cents to $1.20 almost. Over the last 4 years, they've went from 30 cents to $1.20. So obviously wide variations depending on really what happens, in the winter, what happens supply demand, global economics, that kind of thing. So, we're saying again, I'll round it up to 65 cents to stay with AEP. We feel it's a good deal going into this winter. We're estimating Duke's going to be somewhere around between 70 and 80 cents. This winter, we have some other scenarios we're running that could potentially be even more than that, depending on how the winter shakes out. But up to this point, since last fall, the average resident has saved about 7.5%, while giving them that kind of ceiling price where Duke can offer that. So again, making the recommendation to continue your aggregation program, starting in October will be the November bill. This one we will only do for 12 months. Main reason for that, Duke is completely changing how they do their gas supply costs starting in the spring. So, we want to make sure we kind of lock in rates for you guys and for your residents over this winter, but not go out too far once Duke completely changes their methodology on how they do it. But an aggregation program has to be at least a minimum of 12 months. That's the recommendation for the 12 months.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments at this time?
Rich, do you have an idea of what percentage of Middletown residents are in the aggregate program?
So as far as on the electric right now, I don't have that for the gas, so I apologize for that. Okay. So on the electric, I do know that roughly almost 60% of eligible accounts are in the program. You do have about 25% of people who are out doing their own thing, with another third-party supplier. And to kind of touch on that, I think that's where the aggregation is bringing value to your residents for no work, right? Because even on the electric side, 25% of people have taken the work to go do work, do something to go find rates. 75% of people have done nothing, right? So you're able to bring savings to your residents, and they have to put in no work, to do it.
Thank you.
And one thing, just wanted to talk about, it looks like according to the graph here and your comments as well, some months you might see Duke's prices being lower, but it looks like on average that's where you make the savings. So residents might see some months, even maybe months in a row, where their prices are a bit higher, but it should be the average. Is that correct?
Yeah, we look at the aggregation as it's a marathon, not a sprint. So even in those couple of months, and yes, it was the middle of winter, January and February, where the aggregate price was just a little bit lower. You look at what happened in April and May, March, April, May, when it was closer to $1, right? That couple of dollars that, that maybe they spent a little bit more in January, February was more than made up over the spring. So yes, we look at it as a kind of full product of the entire program.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions at this time? Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second?
It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mayor Slanka?
Yes.
Mr. Lawley?
Yes.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Yeses have it, and the legislation passes. Mr. Ewing, the next item, please.
Item number 6 is ordinance number O-2025-45, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with the lowest cost supplier for the purchase of electric generation supply by the city of Middletown and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
This is to authorize the city manager to enter into agreement for electric generation supply and competitive retail provider through One Power Energy Services. The city has several energy supply contracts expiring soon, covering small accounts such as fire stations, municipal garage, parks, and traffic signals. This legislation allows One Power Energy Services to act as the city's procuring agent. Larger accounts, including the water reclamation plant and the city building, have pricing secured through 2026. One Power will recommend the best supplier for smaller accounts, enabling the city manager to finalize the contract. Procuring electric generation supply with in-house staff is an alternative, but it's less effective given the complexity of the market. Utilizing a procuring agent has led to significant savings over the past 6 years. The annual cost for the small accounts is approximately $500,000 spread across various accounts in the 25 budget. Emergency legislation is requested to allow the city manager to sign a new contract quickly, as electric rates fluctuate daily and must be locked in promptly to secure the best, lowest pricing.
Thank you, Ms. Combs. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mr. Lawley?
Yes.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mayor Slanka?
Yes. The yeses have it, and the legislation passes. Mr. Ewing, the next item, please.
Item number 7 is ordinance number O-2025-46, an ordinance establishing a procedure for and authorizing a contract with Oaks Turf Athletic Field Management to renovate the ball fields at Goldman Park and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
This is to authorize a $116,500 contract with Oaks Turf Athletic Field Management for renovating the ballparks at Goldman Park. The Park Board has identified Goldman Park for upgrades funded by the City Council. Recent improvements include new playground equipment and upgrades to the Park Hub building. The next priority is to restore the ball fields, which have developed significant unevenness that impacts play and poses safety risk. The renovation will involve leveling the fields and planting new turf. Oaks Turf Athletic Field Management submitted the lowest and most suitable quote, and the Park Board recommended awarding the contract under their June meeting. The project is expected to be completed by winter 2025. Quotes from 4 contractors range from $116,500 to $350,920. The project cost, again, is $116,500, and the funds will be from the General Capital Fund Reserve. Emergency legislation is needed to authorize the contract since quotes were obtained instead of through formal bidding.
Thank you, Ms. Combs. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Why is this declared an emergency?
So, a couple different reasons. So, as you know, there's a lot of teams that play out at Goldman. There was some, we worked with Charlie and Scott on this, with the park board did, to try and, Goldman's a massive park, and the fields have been, it's a safety issue. So they knew going into it, something would have to be done with the fields. It took a little bit longer to get some quotes in, things like that. And so now it's a time crunch to get the fields redone before winter sets in. So that way, the seed can take and stuff like that. Kind of the same thing with, some of the other playground and park stuff that we've done in the past. There's been some emergency legislation items, just more for, like, for example, Damon Park was on here tonight. It wasn't an emergency, but it was sped up because the supplier chose to give the city a sale price that had already expired, but said, hey, if you guys can purchase it, in the next couple weeks, we can extend, the sale price that we ran earlier in the summer. But this is specific timing, for the athletic fields, for the baseball clubs that play there. And this comes out of the park board money that was set aside a couple years ago by the previous council.
Well, I just didn't see it as an emergency. All of our parks are emergency when I ride around looking at them. I thought we would have some things completed at Douglas Park. I seen that as an emergency since we've been waiting for years to get our water going. So I just can't see this as an emergency. That's all.
Yeah, the update with the Douglas Park splash pad is it's being manufactured right now, and I think, Scott, if it could be delivered and installed in the next few weeks. Okay.
So what about that in ground that they were going to do? If our city manager at the time, Mr. Lally, talked about that, the work that needed to be done.
Scott Tadich, our Director of Public Works.
Yeah, that'll all be done when the splash pad is installed. So I need to follow up with the vendor and contractor. There continues to be some delays with that, so let me follow up and get the latest information on that. But that'll be taken care of when that splash pad is installed. So all the underground work, it's completely new. We're not reusing any of the existing splash pads, mechanical equipment, or what have you.
So that would be what, next year?
It's gonna get installed this year. I'm just concerned it's not gonna be installed in time to
Use it.
this year.
Use it.
Right.
Is what I'm concerned about now. And we're kind of seeing it across all construction work. The rain has, the spring weather and even into summer has put contractors behind. I'm not saying it put that project behind specifically, but they have work that's ahead of that on their schedule, unfortunately. I mean, we're seeing this with paving too, but we're trying to expedite things as much as possible. But at this point, I do have concern that it won't be able to be used before the end of the year. But let me get more information on that.
Okay.
But it's definitely happening. I mean, it is on order. It's in manufacturing. In fact, I think you should see some construction, hopefully here even later this month, on that. So, but it's in a separate spot from the existing splash pad. It's close. So.
Yeah, it's sort of adjacent to the where the,
Where the playground is
yeah,
now.
yep.
And then where the old splash pad is, we'll go back with another shelter, similar to what's on the both sides of it.
And it's no different. I mean, you're seeing it all across the board, and not only in Middletown, but other areas. For example, we had hoped we'd already be in all 4 fire stations by now, but delays in supplies, equipment, and construction has caused issues all across the board. I hate to, not trying to make excuses, but for the lack of a better cliche, it is what it is.
So,
I blame it on the fire chief, 2 chiefs ago.
Then the city manager after that.
Any further questions for Mr. Tadich?
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Are there any other further questions or comments from council at this time? I was curious, how often do we need to level the fields, just given the use itself?
You really don't do it very often at all. I think Goldman hasn't been touched since really the dawn of when it started. And and so there's kind of like a little, you eventually will get a hump from dragging it, and it's a pretty serious safety issue for kids once it gets to a certain, and Oaks Turf and Middy Way, we talked to them at length, and they threw out some specific measurements and stuff that were considerably off, and it can be knee injuries and ankle injuries and tripping hazards. So you shouldn't have to do it. I would say it'd be decades out before you'd have to manipulate again.
All right. Well, thank you very much. That clears that up very well. Anything else before we continue to vote? Seeing none, we will continue to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mrs. Carter?
No.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mayor Slanka?
Yes.
Mr. Lawley?
Yes.
Yeses have it, and the legislation passes. Mr. Ewing, the next item, please.
Item number 8 is ordinance number O 2025-47, an ordinance establishing a procedure for and authorizing a contract with Statewide Ford for the purchase of 5 2025 Ford Police Interceptor utility vehicles for the Division of Police and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
The 2025 budget allocates funds for these vehicles to replace old police cruisers. A quote from Statewide Ford in Van Wert, Ohio has been received. The total cost is $325,000, which will be funded from the Municipal Garage Fund. The emergency legislation is requested so that we can lock in the price.
Thank you, Ms. Combs. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
So after the purchase, we'll see a separate legislation piece for upfitting.
That's my understanding, yes.
Yeah, that's what I figured. 325 sounded pretty cheap for fully upfitted. That's sad to say, but it's true.
That was my same question, actually. Yeah. Do they come fully complete? Mm-hmm. And Mr. Tadich?
The upfitting's less than $100,000 for all of them, so you won't see.
Oh, so we won't see it. Okay.
Right.
Sorry, thank you, Scott.
Perfect.
All right, thank you. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mayor Slanka?
Yes.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Lawley?
Yes.
Yeses have it, and the legislation passes. Mr. Ewing, the next item, please.
Item number 9 is ordinance number O 2025-48, an ordinance establishing a procedure for and authorizing a pre-development agreement with Midland Atlantic Development Company, LLC, for the sale of city-owned property commonly known as Towne Mall for a new mixed-use development and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
This legislation authorizes the city manager to enter into a pre-development agreement with Midland Atlantic Development Company, LLC, for the redevelopment of the Towne Mall Galleria site into a mixed-use development. The city of Middletown issued an RFQ for redeveloping the former Towne Mall site at Roosevelt Boulevard. After reviewing submissions, city staff recommended engaging with Midland Atlantic Development Company as the designated developer. The pre-development agreement allows for the developer to conduct necessary due diligence work. They have until February 2026 to complete this work and decide whether or not to proceed with the proposal. This agreement includes provisions to protect the city if the development does not meet expectations. The developer plans to build a new mixed-use development with retail and residential components, enhancing the community's economy and complementing the growth landscape that's on the city's east end. The City Council may choose not to approve the agreement and opt out of the RFQ and solicit new developers. This legislation does not require city funding. The development is expected to revitalize the underutilized land, create jobs, and provide new housing options. Staff requests a first reading emergency passage of the legislation so that the developer can promptly proceed with all necessary pre-development and due diligence work ahead of the deadline for completion contained in this agreement.
Thank you, Ms. Combs. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Mr. Horn?
Just a quick question, City Manager Combs. So this is the preliminary with this group. We also receive funds to remediate the old Sears auto area. So would that go into their covenant of their contract? Would they take over that responsibility, or do we still do that?
Jacob Schulte is going to address your question.
Thanks.
Mayor, members of council, specific to that question, yes, that's still under our bailiwick and our wheelhouse. So ideally, with this pre-development agreement, now that we would become engaged with Midland Atlantic Properties, we would work in tandem with them to go through that scope of work on the demolition, on the remediation. We want to ultimately work through those demolition funds to make sure that that demolition work and remediation aligns with their ultimate goal for the property. The last thing we wanted to do was to nosedive into the demolition on the site, and then Midland Atlantic have a, I guess, deferring opinion as to how they would like to see the demolition and that remediation scope. So we want to just make sure that those paths are aligned with the overall scope of work.
Jacob, when did the brownfield money expire? Was there there was an expiration, wasn't there?
There is. It's still several years out.
Okay.
I mean, the timing is still there. It's just ultimately now that once we become engaged with Midland Atlantic, we would bring them into the house. We would get that scope of work identified. Patriot Engineering is our engineering consultant for the demolition funds. So we'll be working in tandem with them through, I guess, a three-sided public-private partnership just to make sure it's aligning with Midland. We're going to give Patriot the scope of work, and we'll begin working through the remediation and demolition specs, and hopefully start seeing the earth move in that capacity while we're still working through these due diligence materials to, continue to get the ball rolling.
Great, thank you.
Any further questions? I was curious, given that they have until February of 2026 for the due diligence period, when might the public be able to expect some look at some plans or the kind of ideas that they have for the site itself?
I would say closer towards that development period, or when we get towards the development agreement, and allow me to take a little bit more of a step back to talk through what that timeline is going to look like. So through these next 6 months, they're going to be going through the due diligence, their market feasibilities, everything they're working through with their anchors, with their retail components, and to make sure the project lines up on their capacity. At the same time, this pre-development agreement is protecting our interests, so we're not just, giving this property away, then having to take it back and forth. It's still going to be in our wheelhouse. They're just assigned basically the selected private developer for this to work through. At the same time, at the end of this pre-development agreement, they would come back and say, here's our findings. Hypothetically, we're going to go under the assumption that this is going to be a great project. It's going to work great for us. We'd like to now engage in the development agreement. And then that's where we get into the more nuances of what those acquisition prices might be, any additional entitlements that they would need to work through for the city to see that through. And then basically following right behind that would be the purchase and sale agreement. So taking over the property and working through as they see fit. So I would say, getting back to your question on kind of those final concepts, I ultimately think it'd be somewhere around that mid-winter mark. So a little bit before the development agreement to say, look, this is what we've came back at. This is where we really think the project's going to go. Ultimately, we've been trying to, because we're still pretty on the high-level conceptual stage, they really didn't have a whole lot more, I guess, breadth to show. But, as this pre-development agreement goes through and proceeds, hopefully having a lot more conceptual renderings, get the community and the region excited for how this can complement what we're doing on the east end.
Wonderful. That sounds great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any further questions or comments?
Yep.
Yes.
Just say you guys are doing a great job on this. It's great to see that we still have staff members who are working diligently on this, who are making it work right, contrary to what the newsprint may have said this morning and what social media says. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. I think this whole project is in the hands of very capable staff members.
Thank you, Mr. Lally. Very well said.
Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate it.
All right, if there are no other further comments or questions, we will proceed to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mayor Slanka?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Mayor Slanka. Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Lawley?
Yes.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Yeses have it, and the legislation passes. Mr. Ewing, the next item, please.
Item number 10 is ordinance number O-2025-49, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a tax increment financing agreement for the Cristo Townhomes Incentive District, approving related matters and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
This legislation authorizes the city manager to enter into a tax increment financing agreement with the Middletown Port Authority for public infrastructure development related to the Towns of Lincoln Village project. Earlier this year, the City Council approved an ordinance establishing an incentive district, TIF, to support the construction of 59 townhomes at the Towns of Lincoln Village. The Middletown Port Authority will manage the construction of the public infrastructure improvements, with the TIF district reimbursing related expenses as funds become available. JO Development Group has been engaged as the construction manager. No funds are required from the city. The development will revitalize vacant land, reinvest in urban properties, and provide new housing options. Staff requests an emergency first reading of the legislation to allow for prompt construction of public improvements this fall. The full legislative process has already occurred prior to the incentive district being created.
Thank you, Ms. Combs. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote. Mrs. Skank, the roll, please.
Mayor Slanka?
Yes.
Mr. Lawley?
Yes.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Yeses have it, and the legislation passes. Mr. Ewing, the next item, please.
Item number 11 is resolution number R-2025-24, a resolution to accept certain collateral from Primo Middletown LLC as full satisfaction of debt and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
Mr. Ewing will be presenting this one.
The purpose of the legislation is to approve an agreement with Primo Middletown LLC to resolve its debt owed to the city under the 2022 forgivable loan agreement. The city and Primo Middletown LLC executed a forgivable loan in the amount of $200,000 in 2022. Primo recently ceased operations, which is a material default of the loan obligations. The city has a security interest in all furniture, fixtures, equipment, and other personal property of Primo. The current amount owed to the city under the loan agreement and promissory note is $219,000. To avoid costly litigation, the law director proposes negotiating an agreement with Primo whereby they will surrender all furniture, fixtures, equipment, and other personal property in satisfaction of the debt. Once the city has possession, it can determine the best reuse. This is submitted as an emergency passage. Emergency passage is requested on August 5th to get this resolved as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Yes. Mr. Horn?
This is just a thought. Is this collateral that we have, which is, I'm assuming, cooking equipment, furniture, everything that a restaurant needs, that we think about the people who own the property and who is going to have to bring a restaurant in there, because it's going to be nothing but a restaurant. So it's just a thought for the Mormons, Linda and Jay, who own the building. They're going to have to now lease this, because now, since May, they have not been receiving payment for their property. So just a thought. I mean, yes, you can get some funds out of this, but it's all used. So this is just a thought.
Thank you, Mr.
I would agree with that.
You too.
Thank you. Any other further comments or questions? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote. Mrs. Skank, please call the roll.
Mr. Lawley,
Yes.
Mrs. Carter,
Yes.
Mr. West,
Yes.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mayor Slanka.
Yes. The yeses have it, and the legislation passes. Mr. Ewing, the last legislative item, please.
Item number 12 is resolution number R 2025-25, a resolution to make adjustments to appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Middletown, Counties of Butler and Warren, State of Ohio for the period ending December 31st, 2025. Health Fund for OWDA reimbursable grant, first reading.
Thank you. Ms. Combs, the staff report, please.
This is to request a supplemental appropriation of $150,000 for the health fund related to the Household Sewage Treatment Systems OWDA grant. The Department of Health received a reimbursable grant from the Ohio Water Development Authority OWDA for the 2025 Household Sewage Treatment Systems HSTS Repair and Replacement Program. A supplemental appropriation is needed to access these funds as the grant was not anticipated during the budget preparation. The project is set to be completed by December 31st of 2026.
Thank you, Ms. Combs. As this is a first reading, there is no action to be taken at this time. However, is there any discussion from council? Hearing none, we will proceed, and this concludes the legislation for the evening. Next on the agenda are two public hearings. The first public hearing is regarding the Roosevelt Ridge TIF. Law Director Alex Ewing, you have the floor for the swearing in. Oh, I'm sorry, forgive me.
No, the public hearings will not start until 5:30.
Oh, okay, so at this
We will
point.
take a recess.
Okay, thank you. So what was said,
Can we do unfinished business and new business?
are we able to change the agenda and take care of other business first? That's a good suggestion. If that works, then we will go ahead and move on to unfinished business. At this time, do any council members have anything they would like to bring up under unfinished business? Mr. Horn?
And can we just, by the next meeting or by the September meeting, can we get a Alta Fiber update on where they're at in the city? Specifically at the central area near the old hospital?
Yeah, and hopefully, because I have a lot of residents asking me specifically when is my street going to get it, and I know that may be tough, but if they could narrow it down in a time frame, that would help answering some questions.
I keep putting my address in, they keep telling me no.
Yeah.
I thought I'd ask. For the residents, for the rest of the citizens too, of course.
Thank you, Mr. Horn. Are there would any other council member like to bring up anything under
I have one thing, and I'm
Lally.
going to bring this up under old business because I do essentially see it as old business because we have discussed it before and has to do with the school resource officers. I appreciate the conversations, why it was spirited with the school administration on my desire from assuring that we have 5 school resource officers as opposed to 4. And I want to make this clear that my reasoning for wanting 5 is I see it really as going from 6 to 4, and I see this as putting a little bit too much stress on the current SROs we have of 4. For me, it is clearly a public safety issue. I did this, and I was adamant that we keep 5 because I think we need to do everything we can in this day and age to keep our school children safe, to keep the school staff safe, to keep the teachers safe, and to keep the officers safe, and ultimately to keep the citizens of Middletown safe. Because I see it as when, in my almost 40 years in public safety, anytime you reduce public safety staff, it has a negative result. I've seen it time and time again over my career in public safety. And I just don't think this was the time to do that. I understand school administration's reasoning, and I'm okay with that. But at the end of the day, my intentions weren't to drive a wedge or anything between the city and the school. It was clearly one of public safety. And once again, whenever I've seen a reduction in public safety, especially in fire and police, that you see negative results. And I just think both entities, the school and the city, are in a financial position today to be able to afford that fifth officer. So I just want to make sure I made that point, and hopefully the school board will agree with us, and so we can get rolling when school opens up here in a couple weeks.
I'm very grateful for that, actually. Having spoken with our acting chief, having spoken with legal, I definitely also see the benefits of having our own Middletown officers in our schools. They know the kids, they know the families, they know the school buildings themselves. It's just safer that way as well. So I'm very grateful for the work that's been done to bring a conclusion to this. Anything else under unfinished business? All right, so that will conclude unfinished business. Next item would then be new business. Do any council members have any new business this evening they'd like to bring up? Okay, hearing none, that would conclude new business. At this point, we will take a 20-minute recess to reconvene at 5:30 for public hearings.